If you can get Kendrick Lamar to come maybe hang out with me.
I love
People love
hummingbirds.
birding. They look at the park very differently than the person who wants to go jet ski.
I think you guys have a program that's been around for a while that's called...
It's called Every Kid Outdoors now.
Hey everybody, I'm Chad Taylor with the Vegas Podcast, and today we are here with Mike Gauthier.
I think it makes living here a lot richer for all families that they have access to parks, both city, county, and state parks. And Nevada has a brilliant state park system, by the way. But the national parks too, the other federal lands, the BLM land, the Forest Service land, the Bureau of Rec, and the Fish and Wildlife Service, they're all like places to go birding, to go hiking, to go sightseeing, to go picnic, to go camping. And it's kind of undiscovered still. I mean, people know these places, but they're gigantic places. Yes. And people go to the standard spots. But back to,
cliff jumping at Nelson's Landing. All the kids in high school know that one.
But back to like Mojave National Preserve, that's only 35 minutes.
Right.
Nipton there. There's been some great development with Nipton. Spiegel World bought Nipton, for example. They're developing it. It's a great spot. There's actually a tortoise rearing facility right there inside the park where they raise baby tortoise and then they re-release them.
In Nipton?
Well, right near Nipton.
Okay.
But it's actually not known.
Yeah.
But there actually is this place where we raise baby tortoise up and track them and then put them back in the wall to augment the population who aren't being killed by speeders, right?
Right.
And so all of that's right out the back door. And there's the high mountain, the New York mountains there. There's just brilliant landscapes that are kind of there, but you have to just try a little bit harder to see it. But it's not crazy hard.
Well, you're not spending a lot of marketing dollars marketing all these places.
Well, I don't think we're spending any marketing dollars on marketing
exactly.
any of this stuff.
So right
Some
now,
of it's just known. I mean, I think everybody else controls our marketing for the most part, and we're on the receiving end of it. So you get popular places that get kind of entrenched, but there's equally as great. You just have to maybe pick up a book or a different resource and seek or be curious to pick up a map. And a map is usually a great tool.
I think you nailed it. So that's really the point, right? The world right now is consumed with media and online. And online, to get in front of somebody, if you're not trying to seek it out yourself and it's being pushed at you, it's actually called paid. So it's paid in some form or fashion. So if you're not in that game as the National Park Service, then getting in front of the eyes of the younger generation to open them up to what is available to them is a challenge. So it's definitely something that I hope to do and continue to work on as well. So I'm glad that you pointed that out because there is so much for the youth to get to. I think the National Park Service, something that I want to promote, myself, is that I think you guys have a program that's been around for a while that's called fourth graders.
Yeah. It's called Every Kid Outdoors now. It was called Every Kid in the Park.
Okay.
But now it's Every
Kid Outdoors, which is very fitting. I love it.
Well, other agencies picked it up, and it's a great idea. And essentially, every fourth grader, so if you have a fourth grader in your family, and they're in the car with you when you go to the public lands, they can get a pass. You have to get a pass ahead of time, but they get a free pass. So it's to encourage fourth graders. I remember my state, we had to take history in fourth grade of the state, right?
Right.
It's to encourage fourth graders to get out and enjoy the public lands and bring their families with them, obviously.
Right.
So that's been a program. One sidebar here. I did get to be there today. Obama made it official in Alaska, actually up in Seward, and Kenai Fjords National Park. So it was fun to be there that day as he sort of introduced the program very broadly.
Wow.
And then it became, that was 2015, actually, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so not too long ago.
No, not too long ago. And he celebrated with a fourth grader. He gave her pass. I remember it was a really touching moment. It was well received, and people, can use their kids basically in the public lands for free, and then go camping, hiking, snowshoeing, whatever it is, birding, watching night skies, enjoying the aurora borealis, whatever you're into. And yeah, it's a fun program. I think again back with Vegas, one next level I'd like to get to is, I'm really hoping the employers, particularly those in the entertainment industry here, in the restaurant and food service and hospitality industry, I hope that they recognize that all of this is, though, for their employees too, right?
Yes.
And so to me, if you own a business in town, one of the benefits is like, hey, not only is it 8 months of the year the weather really delightful here, 9 months roughly, and all the other just sort of like greatness of Vegas and entertainment, but we really are gifted to have great parks and outdoor recreation that you and your families can enjoy rather reliably because it's the desert. It's not Seattle where sometimes kind of drippy, or Anchorage, which can be kind of cold and drippy, and
yeah,
San Francisco.
Here you get 8 to 10 months a year of
brilliant weather.
Brilliant weather.
Yeah, brilliant weather, and that's just great for families and that outdoor hiking and time with people, whether it's playing frisbee in a park or walking your dog or soccer with friends or pick up basketball, you name it, pickleball, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But that just hiking on the trails, Red Rock Canyon's right around the corner, Valley Fowler's right around the corner. It's good for your mental health. Good.
So let's put that out there. I'm actually going to just plug that kind of like, I'm going to say this. There was a time 5 or 6 years ago when I first started learning about the park like as far as a team member on the concession side, is I bought 150 park passes for my employees as a Christmas gift, right? So they didn't need it specifically because they worked with us, but they were able to give it to a family member. And those park passes will get a car full into the location. So I'm not going to be shy when I say to Las Vegas folks and industry professionals, like, think about a gift that will last someone 12 months. And the giving season is coming up. And I didn't plan to plug this, but I am going to say how brilliant that is that you mentioned that, because it gives for the next 12 months to an entire family if you get them in the park. And they can go out there and use it over and over and over again. So thank you for bringing it up. That's awesome.
So their families in town, they got other family members in town, head up to Great Basin for the weekend.
Yeah.
Go out to Death Valley, check it out. It's always great every time of the year. Vegas is quite gifted with its public lands. I should say Nevada is very gifted. And I know some people are frustrated with federal ownership of land, but the preservation in relationship to communities where people live, it's well documented that access to open park space is just considered a high bar. Like it's esteemed throughout the globe, and the Park Service is respected throughout the globe. People universally understand open green space or desert space or river space or lake space. They just know that it's a higher quality.
Not only is it a higher quality, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
As someone who came from a capitalistic market here in Las Vegas, as an entrepreneur who started working with the National Park Service, the first year I couldn't stand it. I just thought to myself, this bureaucracy of no, you can't. We want to do this. No, you can't. We want to do this. No, you can't. Well, what can we do to make money out here, right? It is a very controlled environment. But what I learned over the years of being beat upside the head by many people, what I started to learn was there is a purpose to it. There is a purpose to the way that it's ran. There's a purpose that it's been around as long as it has. And what I saw is that when you give free enterprise the access to those beautiful public lands, I have watched them destroy it. And I never thought I would see that, but I've watched them take advantage of it in the name of profits. And it's not necessarily intentional, right? Their heart was not to do that. They didn't mean to do that, but they will take advantage of the lands. And so the park being there to protect it, and it is as an entity, the National Park Service, 10 times the respect. Now I get it. I understand now. And that's just about knowledge and education and being able, someone had to show me how it operated and I had to see how it worked. And then once I got it, I understood. And I said, no, okay, I get it now. We won't do that. We understand that you're protecting it. We won't disrupt the crust. We understand now how those effects have on X, Y, and Z. So I must say that is something also that needs to continue to be taught in school and schools is the why. Why are you there? Why are you protecting it? And why is it important? I think that Carhart, I don't know if it was Arthur Carhart, right? I showed up at Trappers Lake Lodge at the top in Colorado on the backside of a mountain accidentally, and he's got a plaque up there, and he basically stated, this land needs to be preserved. And he wasn't wrong, because it takes your breath away when you see a piece of land that beautiful. And to think that could go away just for building up something, a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people do need some amenities. Lake Mead's better with the boat ramp.
Yeah, you are pro-business. You're good at that. I like that about you.
But you have that, but you also have spots where it is self-discovery. It kind of embodies, that American spirit of like, well, I don't have to stay in a hotel, and I don't have to. I can put my canoe in on my own over here if I want to really do something adventurous, or I can, So it's. I think it. I mean, we try to accommodate as many as you can, and the types and the quality to provide sort of a a suite of opportunities to explore, right?
Yeah.
Because people, they come to parks for different reasons. Like, you know, some people are really into birding. I'm not a birder. But
I love
people love
hummingbirds.
birding.
Yes.
And they look at the park very differently than the person who wants to go jet ski. Like
Yes.
just 100% differently. Like they're not even, but they both need that park, right? They both need it. And so our role is to help have both of them get something out of it and not detract or hurt each other.
You guys do very well at balancing that, and you work with everybody. Your ability to have that, I think, like I said earlier, being able to reach across the aisle. You're dealing with 2 or 3 different people, and you're balancing it well. So we'll just say that. So a little bit more on the kids outdoors. So you know, I do the mentor stuff. You know, I have the Vegas podcast and the Lake Mead outdoor adventures. My goal is to get more youth outdoors, period. I think that they're behind the phone too much. I think they need to continue to get outdoors. You even sitting across from me is amazing. Thank you very much for doing this.
I guarantee if you go camping for the weekend, you're going to help burn that stress off. Or if you go hiking or, you know, turns out it's a great, you know, event. Like we just had the Perseid meteor shower. So you go out for a night and you see, you know, basically shooting stars.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, there's something bigger going on than my stress at work, right?
Or my 4 walls and the plug-in for my iPhone.
Yeah. So it's, and then I talked to someone, had experience. We did something to hike. We had a problem.
Right.
We got through the problem. And it just inspires confidence and just like, well, that was kind of fun. Like, remember so-and-so forgot the sunscreen. They got sunburned badly. They survived, but it's, you know, and then they got again.
And there's a quote, and I want to read it. So there's a book, and I took a note here, Last Child in the Woods. So it's a book that my father had given me. I only read half of it. I won't tell him the rest. I read half of it. I got to read the rest of it. But it starts out, and Walt Whitman wrote, he said, the 4th, and every day, and the first object he looked upon, that object he became. Let's make sure our children look upon the beauty of our national parks and become stewards of this incredible planet, right? So what you see every day and what you go into, you become. So our kids are stuck in the cities and they're not stuck outdoors. So getting them outdoors is important because ultimately that's what you will become, which is kind of like manifest destiny or anything else, right? Once you spend your time around, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. This is the kind of thing. So getting them outdoors. So you're open to working with all of, you know, with the districts and everything. Is there a good way that people can approach you? Is there a good way that people can approach the National Park Service? Like, what is a good way that a business or a casino or somebody in Vegas wants to work with the National Park Service or a company or they want to do something? What is the appropriate way to reach out or that saves time for everybody that will be received well?
Well, I mean, they just have to reach out to us. We're pretty receptive.
Yeah. Okay. That's great news.
Maybe not everybody's idea works.
Of course.
That's, you know, so it's a dialogue.
Okay.
I take a lot of calls and emails and ideas. I try to curate people's enthusiasm into effective action. Okay. Right. And oftentimes people gravitate towards what they like to do. Right. So it could be, I like to, OHV, off-highway vehicle. Right. You know, I like to have my, you know, Toyota Tacoma or whatever vehicle and go out and rock hound or explore out in the middle of nowhere. And I like to camp and have my little gadgets, right? And so some people like that. Some people like to scuba dive. Some people like to sail. Some people like the houseboat. Some people like jet ski. Some people like to kayak and canoe. Some people like to just take their dog for a walk and get away from the evening. So there's something for everybody here. There really is. Right. But, and those who know. But it's a hard transference of information because it does often take some knowledge and some equipment. Not all sports take a lot of equipment, but
it's a big ship and it moves slowly.
Yeah. So those resources have to be available. Yeah. Again, it can be intimidating. If you're living in an urban environment and you're not used to being outside, maybe hiking alone suddenly is scary when you're used to all your sports being team sports, right? Not individual sports. So maybe they're worried about that, right? So how do you find a place, a community to help you explore it? I came up as a mountain climber, okay? Like I was basically a professional mountain climber. And
before you start there, you were a mountain climber and I heard you got struck by lightning, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been through some real climbing stuff. Yeah. And mountain climbing, you know, there is a community and it's filled with people that are like pushing the envelope, right? But they also are there for each other. But it's an awkward community. Maybe skating. Maybe people getting through, at a skate park, they meet people, but then they find out they also like mountain bike riding.
That's actually a great idea. Is find that community online with Facebook. Somebody's already doing it, and then let them help work you into the park and whatever pieces.
Or just come in, just join it and give them your spirit of the community, right?
Yeah.
And
Great
one
idea.
thing I felt very lucky about with mountain climbing, and I gravitate towards skateboarding there and probably surfing too, but those are awkward sports. Like they involve physical harm, injury,
Right.
risk. There's a bit of counterculture to them,
Right.
but there's a lot of support there with those communities. But that's the way I got my entry into it, backpacking, kind of going to the places that not many people wanted to go to, because it did involve a partner often, and people do things solo all the time, but most people like to go with someone and share the experience and then go back and talk about it. And again, Vegas is rich with its public lands nearby. I'll stop at, extolling that, but it's true.
You actually just inspired something. You can't give me a parallel. So the youth is becoming more isolated. So the youth is becoming more isolated from what we're seeing. Independent and isolated. One of the most beautiful things about outdoor is sometimes the independence and the isolation, right? To enjoy it alone. So you can enjoy it together, or you can enjoy it alone. So you actually just brought up a good point that I need to think about a little bit more, is that even though these kids may be getting more isolated and more alone in their personal lives in school districts in the cities, because they're online and they're just isolated, you can be that way outdoors as well. We'll have to look into that. All right.
I think, unfortunately, people maybe fear a little bit of the unknown. And because of that, it slows people down. It's, there's Yelp reviews and TripAdvisor reviews about parks, but, you still just need to take that risk. And I'm still trying to formulate this because it was very different in the Pacific Northwest. It's very different in California where I've worked.
Right.
But I think in the Vegas region, we're having a moment in the last couple years of a lot of people coming here, not necessarily exclusively for the strip and the entertainment and the food.
Yeah, outdoor rec is growing.
Yeah, it's really growing. And
Yes.
they're like, actually, this place sort of has it all.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what the future might be for an organization that ties together getting interesting kids, but also getting adults motivated with experience who can maybe share their time volunteering or lead, or just share with their own families.
Yes.
And then the work environment too, kind of putting a little bit of, using the canoe analogy, a paddle in the water of like, hey, part of why it's also great to work for our company.
Right.
And I'll grab Spiegelworld because they bought Nipton. And by the way,
Get involved.
Yeah, they are involved.
Yeah.
They showed up. They offered volunteer events for their staff to
Yes.
come help clean up both at their site, but also Mojave National Preserve. But to just say it's okay to like, this is part of why living here works.
Right.
Yeah, you got a good job. You work for us. Maybe you clean hotels. Maybe you do food service, whatever. Maybe your entertainment. But
The outdoor
you can't
rec,
just be that all the time.
right, the outdoor
You
rec
might-
enhances your life.
Yeah, you might enjoy some other stuff, playing music outside somewhere, right?
Right.
Sorry, just camping out. So I'm hoping that inspiration gathers more of a moment here as the community grows.
So much. We can do this 1,000 times over. So I got a question for you. Is there anything in the future for the national park that we as a community, Clark County, needs to know, like, or anything that's upcoming that we should be involved with as a community?
Yeah, I think most imminently on the horizon is National Public Lands Day at the end of September. National Public Lands Day is people offering people a chance to come out and volunteer in the public lands. It can be warm here. And so we'll have events like that, but constantly you will hopefully see, as long as I stay at Lake Mead, more opportunities to come, learn something about an area, help us clean it up.
Okay.
We didn't talk much about the stress of my job, but a lot of the stress, but there are a lot of problems with people who don't know how to enjoy and experience these places, who
Right.
visit and cause a lot of havoc, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to go down that path
Right.
in a great chat with you, but people don't know they litter. I mean, straight up like this. People just litter.
Right.
And they don't know the kind of etiquette of responsible stewardship.
Got it.
And that sounds all like, make your eyes roll and, eyes water. But at the same time,
Don't trash the place.
yeah. And people don't understand, though. There's not trash service out at these places. There's not those resources. So how do you get people involved? They can get back, meet other people, have fun. And this is for groups like, I referenced the businesses, but churches, for example, could really lead youth events out. So any organization has the opportunity. Soccer clubs, ice skating's obviously taken off in Vegas. Who knew?
We're gonna have a lot of sports.
We got a lot of sports, and maybe a component of it is a camping trip into
right.
Lake Mead National Recreation or down Mave, and then kids get a night out in the stars and around a campfire eating a s'more and having a piece of food that's half cooked, overcooked, and half cooked, undercooked. But they still got to eat it because that's what's for dinner tonight.
I think the message here is that the community can definitely be more engaged with the Lake Mead National Recreation Area, period, and we'll start to be proponents of that and see if we can't help. And there's a lot of organizations that are, and continue to push that. Let me ask you a question. So after all of this, you're in Vegas, you do what you do. Bucket list. I could do anything. I could meet anybody. This is a question I ask everybody at the end. If you could meet anybody or if you could do anything in Las Vegas or the surrounding area in the near future, anything, what would it be? Meet somebody or do something?
Does Britney Spears still live here?
I don't know, but I can find out. You want to meet Britney Spears?
I just had to cut that joke. No, actually, I'm not. But I always had, generally speaking, I never would have thought I would have wanted to live in Vegas. Right. So I think what appeals to many people who come here, I get. And my dad used to take me down here. We'd come down here for weekends together. But I'm not into necessarily the entertainment. I'm not gobsmacked by it all.
Right.
And so,
Is there somebody that you'd like to meet, though?
Yeah, but I don't know that they live in Vegas. I don't even know.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
But I would just say, I was out last weekend. I think I just like to meet the average person that just likes being on their public lands, having a good time, and I just get to have a one-on-one.
Perfect. And I'm going to put you on the strip with a bunch of flyers, and you can just distribute them.
Yeah, well, that won't work out for me. I'm sure of that. But now I'm really racking my brain. I'm like, okay, Billy Idol's here.
I was going to say, Sinatra's not here anymore.
Rod Stewart, Bono was in town for a while. Like all these people. I do like music. I mean, unfortunately, I'm a little bit of, I like all sorts of music. Actually, if you can get Kendrick Lamar to come maybe hang out with me.
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, that'd be fun, something like that. But
I like it. Kendrick Lamar party at the National Park Service office in Boulder
Snoop Dogg
City.
Can maybe come out to the park.
Snoop
That'd
Dogg?
probably be great.
Sweet.
Great Billy Idol did a great concert.
He did.
And at first I was like, what? And then I watched it. It was brilliant. It was actually really great. And so that was cool.
Okay.
Maybe I could get Sammy Hagar and his I Can't Drive 55 to help me with my Drive Like a Tortoise campaign.
Okay.
Putting it out there.
There you go. See, you just got to put it out there. Things can happen.
Because Sammy Hagar was the first concert I ever went to.
Nice.
So and it was I Can't Drive 55. And we were often thinking, I'm like, maybe Sammy could help us with our speeding campaign.
Okay. Again, Mike, thank you very much for coming. Being
welcome.
on the Vegas podcast.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I hope that the community will get to know you a little bit more and get to know the Park Service and know how to go out and recreate responsibly and actually enjoy their lands. Because again, we do have a lot of people, 3 million people, that I think have no idea what's on the other side of these hills right here. And it's beautiful. So I'm Chad Taylor. That was the Vegas podcast. If you like the content coming out of here and our interviews with some of the most amazing people on this planet, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. And again, the subscription thing, that is one of the most challenging things I've ever done. Getting likes, follows. You can pay for almost anything in the world today, but you can't pay for subscribes. You can pay for subscribes, but if you pay for them, then the engagement rate is completely different and it changes the whole game. So if you like the content, make sure you subscribe and we'll keep bringing you more information from those who know Las Vegas best.